Hey, welcome into another episode of Out of Bounds. This is the Week 13 recap and highlight show with your host, Todd Fox, and the other host of the show,
Randy's daddy.
a.k.a. Rick Davis.
Bitch.
And then we also have Walter on the mic. He's going to be coming up short all the time. Randy checks in with, I don't want to be here.
Hey, Randy. How you doing, Randy? Hey, Randy.
So we'll get into it. We'll be easy on Randy today. Well,
No,
at least
we're
I
not.
will.
No, who said we're gonna be easy on him?
I'll be easy on him. We'll see what happens when Walter takes shots and when Carlos takes shots as we go along. But
Hey, he's a Jets fan. He takes shots at himself.
Geez, see, right out the gate. I'm sorry, Randy, in advance.
Trash.
So let's get started, shall we? We had a Thursday game. We're going to recap these games. We're going to move along, but we're going to let's get into the records real quick, see how we did previous, and then we'll move on.
What these two teams are all about. If things go the way that they have gone for both of these teams in recent memory, especially last week with the passing game with Mike White, then I believe the Jets win this game. This is not a good matchup for the Minnesota Vikings. A team that's got a defense like the Jets have, pressure on the quarterback, a great corner in Sauce Gardner that's going to give Justin Jefferson potentially some problems, and the fact that Mike White can throw the ball down the field.
Okay. Matt checks in with Jets suck. Also, Randy says Ricky got scurred. You know that was it Guinea wad leaking in the fourth quarter. The Vikings were blowing that lead. He was basically saying,
Yeah. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah. Life of a Jets fan. Hey, it seems like optimism is a new winner in the NFL for our Jet fans. Well, we're going to be a good team in a few years. No, you're not. You're not going to be a good team. You're seeing what you're going to be. You're going to be a 500 team at best.
oh,
But you wanted to know what the records were. Randy checks in with a miserable 83, 47, and 1. And I'm giving him crap this whole entire week. Well, on this show and maybe on tomorrow's show, but I'm feeding him today, bro. I'm feeding him nothing but cold stew today. He's 83, 47, and 1. Randy is. Todd, you check in at 118 and 76 and 2. And then I check in at 113, 81 and 2.
not bad. We got some good records, all three of us, and we'll tally up next season. We'll tally up everybody's as we go along. Let's get into some games, shall we? On the recap, we're going to start with game one, which I don't have too much to say other than this game was boring as hell.
Yes.
I did like the Patriots jerseys. I ain't going to lie. I love those old school 1990s or late 1800s, late 1980s jerseys. They're really sick, and Buffalo's wearing the white, so it looked nice. But the game was trash. After the Patriots took an early 7-3 lead, it was all downhill from there. The Bills cruised to a 24-10 win. They go to 9-3. The Patriots fall back to 6-6. Josh Allen, 22 of 33 for 223, 2 touchdowns, no picks. On the ground, it was James Cook, 14 for 64. Stephon Diggs, 7 for 92. Man, how do you stop that dude? Mac Jones did not do much of anything in this game. 22 of 36, 195, 1 touchdown, no picks. Matt Patricia went back to offensive coordinator, and the Patriots haven't moved the ball. Thoughts on this game on Thursday?
Man, I'm disappointed in the Patriots, man, with the season basically on the line. They want to sit out there on prime time and get beat by the Buffalo Bills. I understand Buffalo Bills are a good team, probably a better team than the Patriots, but come on, man. The season is on the line. They just lost against the Vikings on prime time, so they go a week later on prime time and lose again. I don't know, man. The Patriots aren't going to make the playoffs. I can't see them making the playoffs. They lost back-to-back weeks. They could have, would have, should have won both games, but they didn't. And let's just leave it at that. Buffalo Bills are the better team until proven otherwise. Patriots, because Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft's ways, they seem to not care in the offseason about bringing in any big-name free agents unless they're old, funky, and raggedy. And that's just what you're going to get out of New England from here on out. So it's starting to look more and more as time goes on that Tom Brady was actually the hero in New England. Bill Belichick might have groomed him, but once he was fully prepared, Tom Brady was a leader in charge.
Yeah, Richard Sherman said that on the post game. I do like their post game people with Fitzpatrick. Richard Sherman, and I forget Tony Gonzalez and a couple other guys in there. They're pretty good. They said the same exact things you just said, that Patriots facade is all about what's his name? Not Belichick, but Brady. Sonia just checks in with hi, and also she says she's happy about the draft picks that her Nationals got today. And then Randy says, word of advice, never pick the Jets on the week of December 6th. It never works out. He has a losing record.
Dude, don't pick the Jets in general in the month of December. It never works out ever.
Well, he puts it for that week because it's his birthday this week. So,
happy birthday, man! Thanks for giving me the present, Randy.
Birthday.
Oh, jeez. And then Sonia says my stats were still good, 10-4. So she went 10-4 as well.
Me, you, and her went 10-4-1, huh?
Yeah, we sure did. So that's pretty good right there. We're going to tally those up at the end of the season, especially in the postseason. Now we move on to the next game because that one didn't have too much flair on Thursday. The first game was the Green Bay Packers playing the Chicago Bears. These two teams have met more than any other two teams combined in the NFL. But the Packers get the last laugh in this one. They go to 5-8. The Bears fall to 3-10. So all that talk about the Bears being a lot better did not come through. The Packers scored 18 fourth-quarter points to come from behind and win this game. They were down at one point 16-3. Aaron Rodgers was 18 of 31, 182 yards and a touchdown. A.J. Dillon, 18 carries for 93 yards. Alan Lazard, 5 for 67 through the air. Justin Fields says, I'll throw 25 times, but I'll also throw 2 picks. Justin Fields was your leading rusher, 6 for 71. And Equanimeous St. Brown, 3 for 85. That just tells you how great their receiving core is. And what a pick, huh? On that trade with Pittsburgh, Chase Claypool says, hey, you know what, guys? Stop making fun of me for just making 2 catches a game. I'm going to give you 5 catches for 28 yards and no touchdowns. So that was his big splash for the Bears. Thoughts on the Packers getting a seemingly meaningless win against the Bears? Stop, Bears!
Justin Fields, I don't know if you mentioned it or not. I was watching Walter dance while you were reading the stats. He had a 55-yard touchdown. That was basically like the highlight of their season. That's what you're going to get out of Justin Fields going forward. Let's see if he can stay healthy. Chase Claypool, not really impressed with anything that he's done. Within the last year and a half, he hasn't really done anything. And the Pittsburgh Steelers basically fleeced the Bears on that pick. So I mean, not much else other than just another disappointing result. I was rooting hard for the Chicago Bears to finally get over that hump of beating the Green Bay Packers, especially because I know what it feels like to get owned by the Green Bay Packers. So I kind of have a little bit of sympathy in them regards. But it's just Green Bay basically owns Chicago. Chicago, even when Green Bay's in the dumps, Chicago can't do nothing about it. They had a 19-10 point lead, late in the game, and they still choked that one out. So I mean, you just got to give give your hats off, take your hats off to Green Bay. They're a better team no matter what. Through the good and bad seasons, they're better than Chicago.
They truly are, and it's not. It hasn't. When one's bad, the other one's good. They're rarely good at the same time. And they're rarely bad at the same time. So this has been a different year for both squads, and there's a lot of transition going on. Matthew McWilliams thinks that Aaron Rodgers is done for this year, or as far as this is his final year. So it's going to be an interesting offseason up there in the Lambeau Field area and what's going to happen with Jordan Love as well. Let's move on to another game here, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who improved to 5-7. They're trying to inch their way closer to 500 to salvage, which is – for one, a bad season for Tomlin. The Atlanta Falcons were trying to get to 500 or just below 500 to try to stay in the playoff race, but they suffer probably a devastating loss for their season. They will fall to 5-8. The Pittsburgh Steelers did just enough in the second quarter with Kenny Pickett at the helm, 16 for 28, 197 yards and a touchdown. Najee Harris had 17 carries for 86 yards. Pat Freiermuth had 3 catches for 76 yards for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then Marcus Mariota, only 13 for 24, 167 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Their team as a whole rushed for over 150 yards, but that was not enough. Drake London was your leading receiver, 6 for 95 as they rebuild that receiving core. Falcons fall at home 19-16. What's up with either one of these teams?
You're starting to see Pittsburgh. I'm loving what I'm actually seeing out of Pittsburgh. They're going to start winning a little bit more consistent. It took them a little bit to get going, but Kenny Pickett's picking it up, bro. I've even memorized his name. I used to call him Cody Pickett, and now I know his name is Kenny Pickett. That's how much he's improved throughout the season, man. He's actually on the radar, and he's not a bust. The dude is playing pretty good, man. You got to give him credit. He looks and feels like a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, doesn't he? He has his number 8 like Tony Maddox. He looks like one of them oddball quarterbacks, like one of those guys that just comes to work. He's like a blue collar type quarterback. He fits right in, man. He's a Pittsburgh type of guy. He even went to that college, same stadium and everything. And it just looks like I keep hearing that Mike Tomlin's going to have another winning season under his belt for like 15 or 16 straight years. And don't be crazy. Would it be crazy if Pittsburgh made the playoffs, bro? Or they could? They're not mathematically eliminated, I don't think. But I just feel like Pittsburgh has a slight chance of making the playoffs, and all these other teams want to mess around and not take the playoff scene serious. And as far as Atlanta, it is what it is, bro. Like it's a coin flip type of team, and especially with Cordero Patterson not putting up the numbers that everybody's used to within the last year, maybe 2 years. Cordero Patterson has fallen off. Kyle Pitts is out on IR. He's not going to play no more. So Drake London, this is his time to shine. Basically, Atlanta's not making the playoffs, and it's just going to see the young pieces that they're going to build around. And it looks like Drake London is that guy for Atlanta for now. And what do they do about Kyle Pitts, bro? Because once he started finally playing really good, and now that he's kind of like getting polished up a little bit, he gets injured. Like, what do you do going forward?
It's hard to say. I mean, you got a couple tight ends that are like that this year. Each monkey checking in, by the way. Sonia says Tomlin looking good or looking like he's aging this season, but still don't count them out. Also, Atlanta let her down. She was picking Atlanta in that game. But, yeah, you know what? I agree. Both teams are right there. They're kind of on the upswing, so we'll have to see what happens with them moving forward. I'm like you. I like what I'm seeing from Pickett. He's growing as a quarterback as as the season's gone on. And kudos to Tomlin for sticking with him because he could have easily went back to that cheap quarterback that they had, your favorite quarterback.
Mitch Turd Biscuit.
Could have went with Turd Biscuit, but we've been there, done that with him, so it's good that they give the rookie a shot. And then also Randy checks in with, Pitt's going down was a huge loss for Atlanta. So that was the 19-16 game. Now, what everyone's been waiting
for. The Jets fan base relying on Mike White as a huge letdown.
Oh, see, and he takes a shot before I even introduce the game.
I'm sorry, I can't let it go, bro. The way he was trying to feed it to me, I gotta give it to him, man. I gotta serve it back to him.
Hey, well, look. To credit both of you guys, I mean, you guys both shot, stuff at each other, and you know what? It almost this was a good game, man. Either way you cut it, this was a good game. I know, like halfway through the game, you were like, "Oh, the Jets are bored." Yeah, but look what happened. They came back. They were right there inside the red zone. So he's calling better team, better prices, everything.
Nah, I'm just doing that just to make Randy rant because Randy's team is called Jets because they're trash.
Oh, wow.
They could never get a win, and they lost to Minnesota today. Minnesota.
They have 7 wins, buddy. That's all I'm saying. They got 7 wins.
No,
I wouldn't call them trash, but they're not on the level of Minnesota.
Yeah.
All right, so let me tell you what happened in the game. The Jets fall to the Vikings in Minnesota, 27-22. Vikings improved to 10-2, second best in the NFC, while the Jets stay in the race and the fight at 7-5. The Jets came back with 16 second half points to rally, but fell just short. Mike White threw the ball 57 times, 31 completed, 369 through the air, but 2 crucial picks. Zononathan Knight, rushed for 15 times, 90 yards. They also had Garrett Wilson lead the squad with 8 catches, 162 yards. Corey Davis also threw in 85 through the air. The Vikings had Kirk Cousins was 21 of 35, 173, touchdown and no picks. That's play it safe quarterback right there, but that's what you do when you have Dalvin Cook at 20 and 86. Justin Jefferson, though, this was a thing that worried me going into this game. They did shut him down. He only had 7 catches for 45 yards, but he had a touchdown. Take it away, my man. What happened in this game?
I wish you had Randy on speed dial so we can get his insights, bro, because my insights are going to be nothing but trolling on him. No, but honestly, I'm gonna try and give you an honest opinion because I could easily go down that road and just trash on the Jets because Randy deserves it. But I'm gonna be a better man about it. Uh, the game. It seemed like the Vikings just had absolute control over that game the entire way until late in the fourth quarter. It just seemed like the Vikings were ready to get that game done and over with. The fans were like halfway asleep, and everybody was just done with that game, bro. And then the Jets out of nowhere, they had these two explosive plays that led to field goals. And you know what they say: you let bad teams stay in the game, and they're going to make it a game. And that's exactly what Minnesota did. I don't know if that's intentional, so that way they can be prepared for playoff football because that's what you're going to get in playoffs. I keep thinking that they set themselves up so that way they can be ready for anything in the playoffs to defend their little leader or whatever, like their one score lead. I don't know what the deal is with Minnesota, but they're a much better team than what they are. Like they should be. They're a lot better than what they show. The Jets, to be honest with you, the Jets do look pretty good. They got a few good players, but they're also missing a few other players. And it looked to me early on that they were trying to get in Justin Jefferson's head. With Justin Jefferson's head, I don't know if you watched it because you were at the Seahawks game, but they were sitting there hitting them hard, like they were knocking them on his rear end. Justin Jefferson was getting right back up, flexing, and he was laughing it off. And I was like, I bet you that still hurts. Like I don't care how much you try and play it off, but and be the alpha male and all that. But they were hitting them. They were really, really hitting them. But he got the last laugh with that game-winning touchdown. Mike White, I mean, he's okay, bro, but I wouldn't say that he's like a franchise-type quarterback. I think that the Jets are just happy and excited that they finally got something that they can look forward to. And it's kind of like, I want to give constructive criticism. This isn't to troll, but they need a quarterback, bro. They need, like Zach Wilson, they need to throw him back in the fold. They need to throw him back in the mix because they're punishing them, and I see what they're doing. But their defense is really good. Their wide receivers are good. They can run the ball. Like they're just missing a quarterback, bro. Because that dude, Mike White, you're gonna get a 500 season that dude at best. And I'm saying that like constructive criticism. I'm saying that positively. But I just don't trust the guy. He reminds me too much of a Rex Grossman type of guy.
I just felt that in this game they lost it within the 20s. When they got in the red zone,
Yeah.
they weren't able to score. They had to force a lot of field goals, and that's bend don't break defense by the Vikings. Because they had 2 late touchdowns. If they could have cashed them in prior to that one they got just before they got a chance to go down again. So. I mean, I credit the Jets' defense for keeping them in the game because, the Vikings do have a very explosive offense. And, Mike White probably gave you one of his best games he can give you. I mean, he would if he could get those turnovers back, who knows, man.
That first interception by Harrison Smith, it wasn't on Mike White. Mike White hit the receiver and it bounced off. You know those interceptions that bounce off of the receiver? They should start categorizing those interceptions off of like a fumble or something. Like they should start a new stat line that goes against the wide receivers, tight ends, or running backs that catch the ball. Because that's not right that they give those interceptions only on the quarterback. It's the time that they need to add that rule, bro. They need to they need to start giving the wide receivers those bad stat lines. But that pick, that INT was not on Mike White. And about your comment about the Vikings one, that's bend don't break. Once they get inside the 20, that's when they really step up. So they'll let you get all the yards that you possibly want. That's why our pass defense is so bad. But as soon as we get in the red zone, that's when Minnesota plays their best defense. It's been like that the whole entire year.
Yeah, and Sonia says, okay, so you're saying the Vikings coach at halftime said, okay, guys, let's leave the Jets in the game within a few points so we can get some practice. Okie dokie.
Yes, yeah. What else can I say, man? They had control. Our defense was holding them down to 5 field goals. They scored 5 field goals, and then they finally scored that 1 touchdown. So, I mean, I don't know if that's just like mental preparation for to get them. I don't know, man. That's the only thing I can lean on. It sounds crazy, but that's just my honest opinion about this team. Like, we're much better than what we show.
Well, we're going to go over the standings to see where you guys show at in both teams as we roll on here. But that was definitely a good game. It definitely finished up a lot better than it started. Because when it started, I was thinking, man, the Vikings are going to run away with this one.
Yeah.
So, again, good for both teams. Vikings showed up when they had to. Jets came back. It's a learning experience. And, again, I think I'm in the same boat as Randy right now. Both our teams have the same records. We're just I'm just happy to be where we're at because we're ahead of schedule, and I think the Jets are kind of there too. I don't know if he believed that they were going to be a lot better than they were or that they are, but again,
This dude. What is he talking about?
Yes,
You see
yes,
what
we
Randy
do.
just comment? What is he talking about? Took a former Jets player to make the Vikings good again. What is he talking about?
What the freaking the
What?
flippity flop?
Oh, he's talking
Kevin
about Kevin
O'Connell.
O'Connell. It's
Oh
not my fault
God.
you guys let him go.
Yes, it's
You
not
guys
your
don't
fault.
know talent when you have it in front of you.
Oh, jeez. Let's move on to the next game.
No, we're not done yet.
Yes, we are.
This dude
What
Randy,
are you
bro.
going to say?
Hey, this dude Randy sets himself up so much, bro. This dude, he sets himself up so much.
The fact that Randy said so much trash and then just for the Jets to lose. That's
Yeah.
how knowing that he wanted the Jets to win, but they didn't.
Well, yeah, I know he
Yeah.
wanted him to win, but it is
Jaden
what
checks in, he's laughing.
is one of those 50-50 games, man. That's all I can say.
I think
We left them back in the game. That was no 50-50, Randy. Don't get your hopes up. Next week, you guys are going to get crushed, and I don't even know who you guys play against.
We'll get to that tomorrow. Let's talk about a team that's on its way up, though. It's ascending, and when everyone wrote them off, I wrote off the coach, and the one team that we jumped on earlier in the year, and we're like, hey, Jacksonville's making moves. Watch out. They've seemed to have gone opposite directions since we opened our mouths with that one. Jacksonville falls to 4-8. Detroit improves to 5-7. They're giving their fans something to cheer about. They go on to blow out the Jacksonville Jaguars 40-14. It's very rare when Detroit blows out anybody. But Trevor Lawrence for the Jaguars went 17 for 31, 179 and a touchdown. Etonay had 13 for 54 on the ground. Christian Kirk, 6 for 104, but that was it. The Lions, though, were led by Jared Goff, 31 for 41. 2 touchdowns, 340 through the air. DeAndre Swift, 14 catches, 62 yards, and or for 14 carries, 62 yards. And then Aaron St. Brown, 11 catches, 114, and 2 touchdowns. Detroit rolls the Jaguars.
That's what happens when a team like Jacksonville gets a big win over Baltimore, where it took all their energy and all their passion. Everything would be Baltimore. Remember the week before that, they were down by, what was it, like 19-10, and then they came back and beat Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
So they were super happy. It was almost like Minnesota versus Buffalo, bro. Like the same exact thing happened. So much energy and passion goes into these big wins, like these come back from behind wins, and you're not supposed to win where the team just gets hung over on that. And then what happens the very next week to Minnesota and also Jacksonville? They go into a buzzsaw and then they get absolutely smashed by the opposing team. Dallas smashed us 40-3, and then Jacksonville got smashed 40-14 or 13, whatever it is that they put up. But I expect that Detroit's going to come down a little bit more this upcoming week. I don't think that they're that good. I just think that Jacksonville was too caught up on the win that they had the week before. Jacksonville's still a good team and no bounce back. They might come back and have a big win this upcoming week. But, that's what I fully expected. I fully expected Detroit to win that game. And then Jacksonville, I mean, they got, like the Jets, they got bits and pieces. And it's interesting. What if the Jets had a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence would make that team. That would be a nice fit right there. But you'll never see that happen.
We'll see. I mean, I like Detroit. I like moving forward. If they can finish this season strong, they have a lot to build on. They got some draft picks coming up. Pittsburgh Steelers, these two teams, if they can get to 500 or close, I think it would be a great savior to their season because both teams start out really pathetic. Randy checks in, making fun of our boy Walter, saying, coming from a lame Packers fan, ha ha ha.
Walter,
Talk about my Packers one more time, Randy, or else you're going to get your butt beat by me.
Oh, jeez.
Walter, I got you on this one. How many Super Bowl wins do the Jets have? I rest my case.
Oh, jeez.
That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say.
Sonia said she thought the game would be a lot closer, though, between the Jags and the Lions. So, yeah, I'm with you right there. I think the Lions can, if they could finish out the season really strong, and then the Jags can – because the Jags aren't that bad. They've lost some real close games as well. It's just the Detroit Lions have been impressive these last 4 weeks, so – We'll definitely be watching them and the Steelers down the stretch to see if they can get back in the race, but just at least get to some respectability. That'll move us on to the Tennessee Titans and Philadelphia Eagles, and the Philadelphia Eagles will improve to 11-1. The Titans fall to 7-5. A bunch of 7-5 teams. This one was a little bit disappointing because the Titans were supposed to be touchdown Titans. They were supposed to be close in this game and supposed to, give the Eagles a run for their money, but they didn't. They go on to only score 10 points in the first half and get blown out 35-10. Tannehill, captain, play it safe, 14 for 22, 141 and a touchdown. He was your leading rusher, so they sucked that day. And then some guy with a name I can't pronounce had 4 catches, 68 yards. Jalen Hurts was 29 for 39, 380, and 3 touchdowns. They did not run the ball good against Tennessee, but that they didn't need to. They had 2 receivers with over 100 yards, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Eagles roll, man. Are they really this good? Because we keep asking that question every freaking week.
They are, bro. They are. You got it's hard to pick against the Eagles. I think the only game from here on out that you would be somewhat smart to pick against them is the game against Dallas. Only because it'll be in Dallas, but if that game was happening in Philadelphia, it'd be all like odds on. Philadelphia doesn't have no more losses this season. Before I keep going on that game about the Tennessee Titans and the Philadelphia Eagles, I got one question for Randy. When's the last time you swept the AFC East? Because Minnesota's done it this year. But back to this game, right here, the Tennessee.
He did
Titans.
Ask how many Super Bowls you have.
It's because I was acting like a Packer fan right there. I was defending Walter on that one. I was a third person right there.
Oh, okay.
Well, that should be Walter. Walter, that should be your response to Randy anytime he gets out of line. Just ask him how many Super Bowls does his Jets have. But what you call it, the Tennessee Titans, huge disappointment, bro. It's a huge disappointment. Every time that I was like, they would flash the red zone, I was like, damn, Philadelphia's got the ball again. I was like, what's Tennessee doing? And after a while, I just gave up. I was like, this game's over. Like, Tennessee was down 21, 22 to 10, whatever the score was. I was like, oh my God. Next thing you know, I look back up at the score, and they're down by like 20-something points. I'm like, man, this game is over. But yeah, massive disappointment, man. It didn't help out that A.J. Brown lit him up too. A.J. Brown was going off on him. So, I mean, and the Titans just fired their GM. I don't know if you caught that, but they just fired their GM.
Yep. I mean, they're the same team every year, basically.
Yeah, but Philadelphia, good as advertised, bro. Done doubting them. Like I said, the only game I may pick against them from here on out is the game against the Dallas Cowboys, but that's going to be a big if.
Okay.
Big maybe.
Well, let's see what happens because the Eagles again they're going to be playing with house money right now. They're likely going to have that number 1 seed unless they falter down the stretch. You guys are right behind them. So you guys are trying to fight for that number 1 seed in that first round bye. So we'll see, dude. I mean, it's going to be interesting because Philly can easily blow it to you guys, and it'd be a wash for their great start. So
2017 all over again, isn't it?
It seems like it. Let's move on to the butt tickler and massage therapist bowl down in Houston. Houston falls to a league worst 1-10-1. As they lose to the Cleveland Browns. And for the first time this season, I think Houston played like the 1-10-1 Houston Texans. Because in this game, Deshaun Watson was still fresh off getting a happy ending from one of those Asian massage therapists. And he did not play good. The offense only scored 6 points. But the Browns win the game because they got an interception return for a touchdown, a fumble return for a touchdown, and a kickoff return for a touchdown.
That was good enough for them to win right there.
It sure was. They win 27-14, 17 carries for 80 yards for Nick Chubb. Deshaun Watson in his return after 18 months only threw for 131 yards and a pick. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones had 3 catches, 44 yards. Texans did nothing as well. Kyle Allen, a touchdown and 2 picks, 20 of 39 and 201 through the air. Pierce had 18 for 73 on the ground, and then Brevin Jordan had 4 for 46. So, ugly football game. Did not watch much of this one other than finding out how the Browns scored.
Yeah, I was watching. Like, I had the Vikings game on and then the red zone on. Obviously, I had them side by side. Every time the Jets, or not the Jets, I keep thinking about the Vikings and Jets, but every time the Browns they were just funking it up. They were just messing themselves up. They had well, not the Browns, but the Texans. The Texans, they were just sitting there. They were sitting on a lead, and I was like, okay, here we go. The Browns were dysfunctional. They didn't do nothing on offense. I was like, this is a perfect time for Houston to pick up a win. I was like, this is it. And I felt very strong about the Texans pulling away with that win, but, man, they could not do nothing, bro. I don't know what's going on over there in Houston. It just seems like everybody's checked out hopefully nobody's checked out on the head coach, because if that's the case, then Lovie Smith is going to be on the way out the door. But yeah, kudos to the Cleveland Browns. They won on all three facets of the game: offense, defense, and special teams. Offense wasn't impressive, but they did just enough to not mess the game up with the guy that hasn't played in almost 2 years. So yeah, we're gonna see what the Cleveland Browns are all about with the weeks coming, with the coming weeks.
You're gonna see if they save their season, that's for sure. Because right now they're still at 5-7. Randy's wondering why why everyone hates the Jets, and that's just I can speak for Carlos because he'll go against the team that he's facing, but I think little Walter here just likes to stir the pot.
Nope.
So yep, he likes to stir the pot. He's got his.
No. The main reason I'm throwing a lot of shade is because all week, what was I hearing about the Jets? I was hearing about all this Mike White talk. I was like, Mike White, who? And then he just kept feeding me Mike White material. I was like, okay. So I got sick of it like almost instantly, and I just got to give you a little bit of your own treatment, Randy.
There you go. I guess turnaround's fair play.
And also, the Jets suck because they can never win against the Patriots.
Well, there he goes. He's taking the Patriot route. So that'll move us on to the next one because we were just talking.
I think the Jets are in fourth place in their division.
We'll check on that as we finish the show.
Guess who put them in the fourth place?
Well, this next game featured the second tie of the season, and it featured the Washington Woke versus your New York Giants. The Woke got out to a 10-point lead. Taylor Heineke had them rolling, but the Giants came back, took a lead, and then the Woke tied it at the very end to send it to overtime, but both teams were pathetic in overtime and got nothing done. Taylor Heineke finishes 27 of 41, 275, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Brian Robinson had 21 carries and 96 yards. He continues to shine for the Woke. Yeah. Terry McLaurin had 8 catches for 105 yards through the air. So the Woke had a really good offensive day, but just couldn't do it in the clutch. And this is a big tie for both these teams, as we'll get into that as we do the standings. Daniel Jones, 25 of 31, 200 yards and a touchdown. He was your leading rusher. That's a problem. Saquon Barkley, 18 for 63. He's cooled off. And Darius Slayton led the team with 6 catches for 90 yards. Thoughts on a long game, too, 20-20.
Well, it was a really good game, and the only reason I didn't watch it was because the Vikings were playing. But I saw, like I said, the red zone, and it's just amazing. It's amazing because like last week when we were going over these games, I think this was one of the toughest games to pick because both teams are just they're both on the rise, and both coaches are really good. I was flip-flop. I was wiggling on the fence. I was going back and forth on the fence on this one, waffling. And it just goes to show you that both these teams are balanced, bro. They're both equal. They're both. It'll be a good matchup if they play again. I doubt that they play again this year, but if they meet up in a playoff somehow, some way, it'll be interesting. But I doubt that too. And one thing that I wanted to point out, man, is the Giants getting a tie. Is that going to help them out, or is that helping you guys out? Because you guys got the tiebreaker over them. I don't know if you looked at that for the playoff run, because I know that last time I saw that the Giants were, I want to say, the number 6 or number 7 seed, and then you guys got the tiebreaker. That tie might actually help you guys out.
We jumped both teams because of that tie, basically.
So you guys are number 6, right? Because Dallas is number 5, right?
Yeah, I think we jumped both teams because the Woke have a bye this week, Sonia says, and then they play the Giants in 2 weeks again.
I see Sonia. She said that, and we have a bye week this week, and then play the Giants again. Oh, that's going to be a good one. Watch it end up in another tie.
That would be hilarious. That would help us out even more. But this was a big tie for both teams. Both teams needed this win as you want to stay hot in the NFC. And taking a tie right here was not ideal, and especially for the Giants with that tiebreaker, that kind of sets them a game and a half behind us. So that's gonna be something that's gonna mean something here moving forward to the end of the season. But it was a good football game, and it went back and forth. It's just it's good to see those two teams rivals again, because through the 80s and 90s they were fierce rivals, and to see them get back to respectability at the same time is good for NFL.
I got a question. Speaking of rivalries, who's the Jets' rivals?
Off the top of my head, I'd have to say it's the Dolphins. I think it's still the Dolphins.
Yeah,
I want to see what Randy says.
Miami.
And you said
Yeah, because I don't know if it. I know he has mixed feelings with the Bills, And, of course, he hates the Patriots. But, honestly, you got to win against your rival at some point for it to be a rivalry.
I don't think the Jets are ever gonna win against I don't know.
The Patriots?
Yeah.
Okay, Walter checks in with that. The next game we move on to, this one made my butt tingle, and I was very happy about this game.
Hold on. You said it made your butt tingle and it made you happy.
Yeah, it did. I was watching this game. They were showing on the red zone at SoFi, and I was thinking, man, another loss right here for Denver is going to help our draft status. And you know what? Russell Wilson came through in the clutch. Yeah, Lamar Jackson is going to be out 3 weeks with a knee injury. So that left Hundley in at helm. And then Russell Wilson took over, and he was like, hey, it's Broncos country. Let's ride. And he took the Subway commercial and went 17 for 22, 189 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Latavius Murray rushed for 47 yards. And then Deutschich or whatever, 6 for 85. He was your leading receiver. The Ravens had Huntley in there, 27 to 32, 187 yards and a pick. But he rushed one in to win the game, 10 for 41 and a touchdown. Mark Andrews had 4 receptions for 53 yards. This is the third game the Broncos have not scored a touchdown in this season. And, again, only 9 points of offense as they missed a game-winning field goal at the end. Thoughts on the Broncos continuing to slide now 3-9. The Ravens are now 8-4.
Biggest letdown this whole entire season in the sport of NFL and the sport of football is Russell Wilson coming from Seattle, pumping up the NFL that Denver was going to make the playoffs. And absolutely, I think that's the biggest disappointment this whole entire season. I don't think there's one that can counter that. I think it's Russell Wilson being a huge letdown disappointment or the whole entire team and the head coach, Nathaniel Hackett. That whole entire thing is just a mess. John Lynch gets it wrong yet again with another quarterback. I don't know what it's going to take for this dude. Not John Lynch, but John Elway. Mm-hmm. John Elway gets it wrong with another quarterback. He strikes out yet again. He got lucky with Peyton Manning those few seasons. But outside of that, he's been absolutely mediocre, bro. When is John Lynch going to be on the hot seat, bro? Because he keeps going to quarterbacks and coaches, so it's obviously something that he's doing. So we're going to see hopefully they start mentioning him being on the hot seat, but I doubt it because he's got a lot of money or whatever, and he's part of he's a part of a rich part of the NFL Hall of Fame and all that. But it's a huge letdown. Denver's a real big bust this year. Baltimore, we're gonna see what they're like without Lamar Jackson. So they look better without Lamar Jackson. That's gonna go big against Lamar Jackson and his contract talks because Tyler Huntley comes in and they start booming out some points and putting up like 20, 30 points per game without Lamar Jackson. The Ravens are just gonna let Lamar Jackson go, bro, because it's not Lamar Jackson. It would be Tyler Huntley's time to shine in Baltimore.
I think Harbaugh's married to freaking Lamar. I think they have to work out a deal, but it's going to hurt the Ravens overall because you're going to have to pay him Russell Wilson money. He's going to want that. He's already expressed that, but he's had an up and down year. He's not had the MVP year that they've asked him to have or that he said he was going to have. And then now he's injured for 3 weeks. So, yeah, I mean, if Huntley can come through, man, this is his time. He could be the guy for the future for Baltimore. You never know. But I think at some point the Ravens are going to have to make that decision. And then as far as the Broncos are concerned, yeah, they're the biggest bust. I think John Elway should be on the hot seat, but he won't because it'd be like if the Jets had Joe Namath at GM. How would you fire a legend like that? So you really can't fire a legend like Elway. I think you wait for Elway to step down, but you're right. His quarterback decisions through the drafts have been god-awful. And then this trade, I thank God for him making the trade to Seattle, but if you're a Denver fan, dude, you're hating this trade, man. It's going to be thrown in your face for years to come. And especially if Seattle reaps the rewards with good drafting, it's really going to look bad in the long run. If Russell can't right the ship with a new coach next year and he plays like this, they are stuck paying this dude over $160 million guaranteed.
I'm gonna go back to it, bro. John Elway, bro. He's the reason why the Broncos have sucked. As a matter of fact, they've been going out before John Elway, bro. The Broncos have, man, outside of Peyton Manning, John Elway was the last quarterback, bro. So they went from John Elway all the way to Peyton Manning. And outside of those two quarterbacks, Denver's never had a decent quarterback. They've had Jake the Snake Plummer. They've had God knows who else. I think they had Jay Cutler. They had Jay Cutler. They had Joe Flacco, I want to say. They just had absolute garbage at quarterback, man. So I don't know what it is about Denver, but their quarterback situation is just god awful year in, year after year, bro. Sorry to any diehard Bronco fans, but bro, like that's just facts right there, man. I can't outside of Peyton Manning, those 2-3 years, whatever, however long he was there, and John Elway, the Broncos have had nothing at quarterback, man.
Yeah, they have Trevor Siemian. They had a few other guys.
Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, just bad quarterbacks. And they gave Osweiler that sweet deal when he was only like good for half a season with the Texans. So, yeah, it's terrible, man. The chair checks, when James checks in, he's just saying Broncos country, let's eke. Bobby Brister back in the day with John Elway. Jake Plummer and Jake Cutler, they were damn good in Denver. That's what Randy's saying. Then does Wilson have more touchdowns than bathrooms? No, he doesn't. He has more bathrooms.
Well, I'm holding my comments because Randy said something about good quarterbacks. Does he know a good quarterback when he sees one? He's a fan of Mike White.
Oh, jeez. Here we go again. I knew this would happen, dude. I knew this would happen. I'm sorry, Randy. I knew this would happen. Here goes Walter
I can't help myself, man.
All right, let's move on to the next game.
No, Randy sucks.
So Miami Dolphins go into San Francisco, Santa Clara, and lose 33-17. The Niners now continue to roll. They're 8-4. The Dolphins fall to 8-4. So this is a good matchup. And it started out good. The Dolphins scored on the very first play of the game, 75-yard touchdown from Tua to the receiver Tyreek Hill. Or no, it was Trent Sheffield who had his only catch. Tyreek Hill had 9 for 146 and a touchdown. Raheem Mostert only rushed for 30 yards, but Tua threw 2 picks in this game. The Niners, though, got some bad news, and I want to ask you about this when we finish here. Jimmy Garoppolo, he breaks his leg early in the first quarter. A Purdy quarterback, Brock Purdy, came in and played good, 25 of 37, 2 touchdowns and a pick on 210 yards. Christian McCaffrey led on the ground and through the air. He had 150 purpose yards, with 66 of them through the rushing game and 80 some odd through the the receiving through the air and a touchdown. Thoughts on the Niners, man? Does this spell the end of them this year, winning, or does Purdy take them to the promised land, sort of like how Kaepernick did back in the day?
Before I get to that one, Randy said, you know what? It's my birthday. After this hate, I'm going to go have dinner. Well, go ahead and eat all the L's that you want, and don't let the door hit you where the Lord split you. But as far as the Niners and the Dolphins, I figured that it was going to play. It played out as I figured it was going to play out because the Dolphins coach, McDaniels, whatever his name is, he came from San Francisco. So Mike Shanahan, the coach, Kyle Shanahan, he groomed him to get the head coaching job over there in Miami. So he knew what his strengths were and and the thought process that he brought to each game, and that's why Miami struggled even against a third-string quarterback like like Purdy or whatever. But that doesn't surprise me at all. Because, like I said, man, teacher versus student, like I said last week, and that's why I went with the 49ers, bro. Even with the third-string quarterback, it just is what it is. No shocker there. That's really all I got, bro. It's a teacher just outsmarting the student. Had it been a different coach with that Miami team, the Dolphins might have won, but because Shanahan knows that guy really good, that's why they won.
True. Oh, Randy, don't leave, man. We still love you.
Come on, bro. Like you said, I'm gonna be there, win or loss, man. You pumping out your chest now. That chest is just flattened out, isn't it? Them steroids just ran out of juice, huh, Randy?
He has no steroids. That's all 100% Irish.
Randy
stop it.
Sucks.
Stop it.
He is a clown. He takes steroids.
Hey, your team, dude. I wouldn't talk unless you have a winning record, my man.
He did lead, too.
Yeah. Let's see. James checks in with 49er fans going to have to beg for Jimmy to come back next year after throwing him under the bus. Well, yeah, you know what? Now they have to give him a pass because talking about Jimmy, You're talking about a guy who took a pay cut to come back to the Niners when the Seahawks couldn't get him, a few other teams couldn't get him, and he wasn't wanted, so he gave the fans and another shot, and he gave the team another shot as a prove-it contract, and now he's hurt. He was playing really good, but you looked at what Purdy did in that game, and yes, schematically they were doing a lot of crazy stuff, and then it was working for the Niners. And Purdy looked pretty good, like he did some things in that game. Can he sustain it? I don't know. And then you saw Baker Mayfield get claimed today by the Rams, so that was an option that maybe the Niners were going to look at. But now he's gone too. There's really no one left at this point in the season to save their season, so they're going to have to ride with him. You got Trey Lance is done for the season. So, this is going to be interesting to see if the Niners can keep it going, because defensively they've got a really, really good Super Bowl type caliber defense. I just don't think they have and they have the offensive weapons, but can Purdy do it? That's the problem.
Wow, I just thought about it. Now you guys, this is your big chance to win a division over Seattle. You guys have a really good shot at winning the division and making the playoffs as division champs. Would that not be something the Rams not making the playoffs? They just won a Super Bowl that they sold out. They sold their souls to the devil for. And the 49ers looked like they were about to be really, really good, but they lost their quarterbacks, their top two quarterbacks, and now you guys are just sitting there just with a much easier path to win a division. Like, it's just crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, we do have 3 difficult games left out of the last 5 games to play. I ain't gonna lie. We got the Niners, we got the Jets, and we got the freaking what is it called? The Chiefs. So I mean, those are 3 big games coming up. We got the Niners in 2 weeks. And speaking of my Seahawks, they go to 7-5. I was in attendance there. It was about 60-40 as far as the fans were concerned. It wasn't even a sellout. There were a lot of Seahawk fans there. And on SoFi Stadium is a beautiful stadium. It's very clean. But boy, their fans are dumb as shit. They showed the same ones over and over. They had nothing but filters to try to get the fans to laugh at Snapchat. So basically, they think their fans are teenagers. And they had a DJ who wouldn't shut the fuck up, and every 5 minutes was saying, "Whose house?" as loud as he fucking possibly could. And then they were playing shitty music. They had a mariachi Rams that they played Tequila and a few other lame-ass songs. Then they had a white guitarist, a chick, playing like just too loud on the guitar, overplaying music that's already playing over the loudspeakers. It was terrible. And then they have to tell you when to get loud and when to be quiet. So they were telling you to shh when the offense was on the field, and they were telling you to get loud on 2nd and 3rd down plays. It was annoying as shit. I mean, if they could have just toned that down, the experience would have been a lot better. We were sitting in the upper deck, and the seats were great, but it's just, damn, dude. I mean, they killed the experience. But enough of that. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Fuck the Rams, and I'm happy they lost again. They are now 3-9. They've lost 6 straight. Seattle's 7-5, looking only a game back at the Niners. And again, I wanted them to lose against the Dolphins, but that didn't happen. And now, like you said, there's an open door for that division. Geno Smith went 28 for 39, 367, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick. I mean, he is playing amazing. Again, he was awesome in this game. The running game was non-existent. Kenneth Walker sprained his ankle. DJ Dallas did not play good in this game. He sprained his ankle. Tony Jones came off the bench to rush for them. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf both had 9 and 8 catches for 128 yards apiece. The Rams were left by John Wolford. And the Rams, this is what scares me about Seattle, though. Their defense is just making other teams look good right now. They've got the rookies out there, but something's not clicking. They're giving up a lot of rushing yards. And for a team that was dead last in rushing, they rushed for 150 yards total as a team. Wolford was 14 for 26, 178 yards and 2 picks. And some guy named Christian Atwell had 2 catches for 48 yards. But this game was a lot closer than I thought. It was a butt clincher, but we got the win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take your word for it. I seen that you were out there smashing out some good old tacos. Those tacos look good out there. And it looked like it was a Seahawks tailgating party all throughout that parking lot, man. So I'll take your word 100% on that. The Rams seem like they're just a team that's just ready for the season to be over. Super Bowl hangovers, it's in full effect. Not much I got for this game, bro. Outside of Seattle, they kind of struggled a little bit with the Rams, and the Rams are somewhat a bad team, you know. So let's just hope that Seattle can pick it up and give the 49ers a run for their money, because you don't want the NFC West champs to be led by a guy named Purdy, bro. You want the Seahawks to win that division. As a football fan, that's just my honest opinion. I want the Seahawks to win the NFC West, because those 49er fans can be quite douchey.
Oh, they very much are. I mean, just yeah, they are. I'm gonna say this too. James says the Cardinals should be in it, but Murray's holding them back. Matthew McWilliams has just got off work. He says he'll be driving, so he can't comment, but he says he's listening. And then the chair also, James says, can Jim Everett come back and play quarterback? That's a throwback to the late '90s or early '90s. But yeah, dude. I mean, look, the Seahawks have every chance now to win that division, but we'll see what happens. I'm not. I have to be on a week to week basis, because they've blown 3 games this year. Where, again, if the running game had been stopped by the opponent, they stopped the opponent's running game, they win those games straight up. So they let those go. And so we'll see, man. I mean, those tacos were fire, by the way. I killed 9 of
I
them.
bet they were. They looked like they were fire.
Yeah, they were
And
delicious,
then
man.
you had a michelada too, huh?
Yes, sir. And then I also met a childhood of like, look, I bought this. Well, I had this jersey made. It was a Chris Warren, because it was hard to find. And number 42 used to be the running back for the Seahawks. He was one of my favorite running backs, because he played on shitty Seahawk teams, and they never won. And quick story real quick, he was there doing an autograph signing, and he saw my jersey with a Chris Warren. He's like, dog, where'd you get that? I'm like, I had it made. And he's like, man, he goes, I love it. Thanks, man. And we were rapping and talking the whole time for about a good 20, 30 minutes. Cool ass dude, man. It's always awesome when you can meet one of your
Man, you should have told him that you do like podcasting and you like. Did you get any information on
I
him?
did. He got my number. Because
Wow.
I showed him a YouTube video I made of him, and he's like, "Where'd you get that footage?" And I got my ideas and my ways, and he's like, "Really?" He's like, "I got a bunch of VHSs, man, of all my games." He goes, "I'd like to put those on on some sort of social media, or get them transferred over to digital." And I said, "Man, I could do that for you." And so that's why he got my number. But he's cool as hell, man. I mean, me and him were talking for a while. He was charging everybody for autographs. He didn't charge me for an autograph.
It's almost like Cecilio when it was a house.
Shut up, man. It wasn't that cool. Shut up, man. Dick. That's another. See, Randy, he's a dick.
Dude, that's where my mind just went to. Like, you got everybody else was getting charged in the night, and you're the only one that got the green light.
Oh yeah.
You got anything else to drink? No. You got what a drinks.
He gave me an entire care package, ice cream, everything.
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah. So he also what is it? James said that was great about Chris Warren. He also says Matthew Stafford might be done his career. Moving forward right here, let's get to the next game. The Chargers fall to 6-6. The Raiders might still be in it. They're 5-7. They've won 2 back-to-back impressive wins. Justin Herbert went 28 for 47, 335 and a touchdown. Eckler 10-35 on the ground. Keenan Allen 6-88 through the air. The Raiders were led by Derek Carr. Captain Eyeliner went 16 for 30, 250 and 2 touchdowns and a pick. Josh Jacobs is continuing to want to get paid. He had 26 carries for 144 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, 8 catches, 177 yards. I'll be honest with everybody. I saw 0 plays of this game. They didn't even show this one on the freaking red zone at the stadium. I don't know what the hell happened. So, do you have any thoughts on this game?
No, other than well, I do got a few things to say about this game. Well, the Raiders in general, I'm done with the Chargers, bro. The Chargers got too much talent. They're not putting it together. That's another massive disappointment. That them and the Broncos were supposed to be these big tough teams that make the playoffs and Super Bowl contenders, yada yada yada, and they're not even going to make the playoffs. It doesn't look like it. And if they do, they'll be a one and done. The Raiders look like they're they're the AFC version. Detroit Lions, and I'm not saying that in a bad way or dissing the Raiders, bro. It seems like you play your best football in November and December, right? And it seems like they're starting to get it together. And I'm hoping that the Raiders do make the playoffs. and look like the team that, like, hopefully for years to come the Raiders are a good team, because it's something about the Raiders, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Right now, if it wasn't for Randy Moss, I would be a Raider fan right now, bro. If it wasn't for Randy Moss, I would be just like how I love the Vikings, I'd be a Raider fan because their colors and their logo and all that stuff, and plus they're like they're from LA and Oakland and all that type of stuff. But anyways, enough about that, bro. Yeah, I hope I'm rooting for the Raiders to make the playoffs and hopefully do some noise in the playoffs. But we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, and I think right now, I mean, one of these teams. I mean, one team or maybe not. None of them will make it between the Chargers and the Raiders because the AFC is tough right now. But kudos to the Raiders, at least starting to show some life. But again, it might be too late. And then again, like I agree with the Chargers, man. I mean, they're not getting the job done. The coach went out and got supposed players that weren't choking. He knew that the previous regime was a lot of chokers. They don't want to lose these games, but they're losing the games that they said they were supposed to win. So
paper champs, bro. Paper champs, preseason champs. That's all it is. Weren't the Raiders like 3-0 or 4-0 in the Oh, I went from like the Chargers and the Raiders. I put them like I'm thinking the same thing, but the Raiders went like 3-0 in the playoffs or in the.
Why does it do that? Let me know if you can hear me because I think we got. There we go again. It did this last week and it froze. And I think it's doing it again. And it's usually around the hour time. Is when I was switching back and forth here and it just totally fucked me over here. Let's see if we don't lose the stream right here. So bear with me real quick and then we'll get into the next game. Let's see, because it's freezing like a mother effer right now. If we do not lose connection, I will be shocked if we're still on. And I think we lost connection. Hold on. Oh, no, wait. We're still right there. Yeah, I think we're still right there. Okay. As long as... All right, we're still on. So, let me get back here to it. Because it's being real stupid right now. I don't know why this happens. I'm going to have to run a diagnostics on this computer. Because we were at a good pace, and there was no issues. And then right now, just shit out of luck. I don't know what happened here. So, let's see here. Okay. Okay, still hearing me. He's out right now. Steve Lee's checks in. She says, sorry that I just went out. I just came in. I was tired. This is not Steve Lee's. This is Walter right there on the mic right there. I'm still frozen with Carlos. Let's see. Carlos disappeared. So he's out on this one. So what we'll have to do is I'll try to get him in or I'll try to finish up the show if that's the case, because I guess he was lost on the connection. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can get him back on real quick here as we move forward here. Give me 1 second here. I'll try to get him up. Let's see. No, it's not it right there. I got to see if I can get him to jump on because that sucks. I don't know why it like kicked him out. That makes no freaking sense. But let me see if I can get this to pop up here. Let's see. No, not host. Boy, oh boy. See, this is what happens when you do this shit live. And sometimes it works really good. Sometimes it doesn't. And right now it doesn't. So we're going to get into the next game while I'm trying to get that to load up right now. The Cincinnati Bengals go to 8-4 as they get a big victory at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are one of the best teams in football. No lie, they are now 9-3 though. Not a big loss for them because again, it's one of those on the road. It's not that bad for them. But they are a good freaking team, and they will be in the playoff hunt for sure. So that's not to worry for them. Let's see. There I am back on the video there. Hopefully you guys can see me. Let's see. Let me get him invited right now. But in this game, there's a lot to be said by his girlfriend, which is Patrick Mahomes. She talked a lot of mess, and she was talking about the refs being biased to her husband right there. So hold on. Shit, I'm out on that one too. Let's see if you guys can still hear me. Let's see. I'm not picking up here at all. Do, 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 do. Let's see here. Yeah, we might have just lost the whole goddamn thing. I might have here. No, there I am right there. I'm trying to fix everything, and it's just not working right now. Let's see. We're at 5 concurrent victors. Or let's see. Yeah, we see you. The Bengals left some on the board. Yeah, the Bengals. Look, the Bengals did their thing. They played enough defense. The Chiefs were able to. And I'm sorry if I'm all over the place because I'm just trying to get everything set up here, reset to try to get Carlos back on. But as I've tried to do that right now, and stupid, it's freaking Zoom right now acting dumb. But the Bengals did as best as they possibly could in this game. They got the job done. The defense played very strong against the Chiefs. The Chiefs lose the game, though, 27-24 as they failed to score at the end of the ball game when it mattered the most. But kudos again to the Cincinnati Bengals for staying tied there with the Baltimore Ravens. And it's weird because when two teams have the Super Bowl hangover, or the team that loses the Super Bowl usually has a Super Bowl hangover, not the team that wins. And basically the Bengals won the Bengals lost the Super Bowl, but they don't appear to have the hangover. They're still playing very well and trying to get back to the Super Bowl and make that late season run. But it is the right now it's the freaking the Rams that are having the Super Bowl hangover at 3-9. So, right now it looks like the Bengals rightfully, because maybe that's the thing, dude. They should have won that Super Bowl. Look, I sent the link right there. Hopefully Carlos gets that. Boy, it is not letting me do a damn thing in this right here. I don't know how that's gonna work right now. I sent the invite here, and let me send it to Carlos to see if he could bite back on. Let's see. Boy, this one's a mess. This one is a mess. Okay. So while I'm trying to do that and trying to get him back on, we'll just continue to roll on. Let me get back to these games right here, and then we'll finish it out if he can't get back on. So I apologize. Let's see. Also, let's see. Damn it. Where did I leave the... See, in trying to find all this stuff, I jumbled all these pages up. So now I'm trying to just see if I can get into where I had all the stats up, and I'm not finding it here. Let's see. NFL schedule. All right, there we go. All right, so let's finish this one out because it doesn't look like, unless he pops back on right now, I sent him the link. The Colts and Cowboys, this was a blowout, 54-19. It was once a 1-point game late in the third quarter, but all of a sudden 33 points in the fourth quarter. The Cowboys blew out the Indianapolis Colts 54-19. Matt Ryan's a shitty-ass quarterback, 21 of 37. And let's see, hold on, let's see. It got Rick Davis back in, 233, 2 touchdowns and 3 picks. Jonathan Taylor, 2 for 84. You right there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, I'm sorry about that, man. It was Zoom that fucked up, and it's been really fucking up lately. So
We might have to switch to a different way of doing it. We could completely avoid Zoom, and I got a great idea where we could go live on right from our phones.
all right, well, if we had to do that, we had to do that, man, because I'm not digging this whole shit show that we have right now.
Yeah, let's go with our phones. Let's try that out next week.
Okay. Let's. What do you got on the Colts and Cowboys?
A close game until the Cowboys decided to turn it up on them. The oven got turned on in the fourth quarter over there in Big D in Dallas. The Colts were in there in the game, and they couldn't hang. Dallas took full control, and it looked like the Cowboys were just terrifying the Colts. The Colts were just fumbling and throwing interceptions. It was just the turnover show, and it was just defensive touchdowns. It was like a bully show was going on, bro. Like they were just overpowering the Colts. That's all that I saw.
Yeah, I mean, Colts came. I mean, you would never have thought that game was only a point away, or there were 2 points away. I think they were down at one point, and it just turned into a shit show. So, yeah, I mean, the Cowboys, they get a big win. They're trying to stay pace with the Vikings and the Eagles moving forward.
I saw.
Let's move to the last game. It is the the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who improved to 6-6 and pretty much eliminate the New Orleans Saints, who fall to 4-9. The Saints actually had this game in hand. They were up 16-3 in the fourth quarter with just over 6 minutes to go. And then all of a sudden, Tom Brady remembered he's Tom Brady, and the Buccaneers came all the way back despite Andy Dalton's 20 of 28 for 229 and a touchdown. Mark Ingram didn't do anything on the ground. Rashad Shaheed, 4 for 75. But the Buccaneers, Tom Brady, 36 of 54, 281, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Fournette, 10 for 49. Chris Godwin, 8 for 63. Exciting game at the end, but boring for 3.5 quarters. Are you still there? Fucking Zoom, dude. I swear to God, what is going on with this thing? We are crapping out again, people. Looks like it is.
Game. I was listening to the game. I was like, this is not good. Tampa Bay's going to win this game. And then there it is right there. They ended up winning at the last second. I was like, man, it'll be crazy if the kick they missed the kick the Buccaneers do and it goes into overtime. But at that point, when the Saints gave up that touchdown, I'm telling you, bro, like they were in cruise control. They were already done with that game. And they let their foot off the gas instead of turning it up. They just let it off, bro, and then Tampa Bay give them enough time to make a comeback, and they're gonna have it. It's gonna happen. Tom Brady's good like that. And I was talking to my friend, and I was like, wouldn't that be crazy if this sparks the playoff run for Tampa Bay? Like, what if Tampa Bay goes on this win streak into the playoffs, and then they're like they would win the NFC South. That would put them as the number 4 seed. So they would play against the number 5 seed. That would put Cowboys. They play against the Cowboys. So it'd be the Cowboys and the Bucs. That would be interesting. And the Buccaneers on fire. And we've seen what the Buccaneers do to the Cowboys. That would be a great matchup right there. So you never know.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, these playoff matchups. But right now, Tampa Bay saved their season. It looks like they're gonna get into the postseason. It's not gonna be any of these like Saints or Panthers or teams like that from the South, especially the Falcons. They've all seemed to hit their strides earlier in the year, and Tampa Bay's rising to the occasion. So we'll have to see. It's gonna be interesting, these matchups coming into the postseason. A team like Tampa could get hot again. Nobody wants to see them hot in the postseason, and with Tom Brady. So, yeah, it's definitely he's putting the league on freaking notice. That's for sure.
Hey, quick shout out to Stavilis Tamara. Checks in with Funny now. I should get a leave to guys tomorrow post game show, and I hope I'm not so tired tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Peace out, fam.
There you go.
Do you know the Stavilis?
Yeah, I do, but I think that's her son using the account. So,
okay, I was gonna ask because I've been making our loyal subscribers moderators. Should I hit the moderator button on that one?
If you want, yeah.
All right.
So let's go to the standings real quick. In the AFC, the Buffalo Bills are 9-3. The Dolphins are 8-4. The Jets are 7-5. Patriots are 6-6. All 4 teams above 500, looking good. And all 4 are eligible or not eligible, but they're right there, either in the hunt or in the playoffs as we speak. The AFC West has the Chiefs at 9-3, the Chargers at 6-6. The 5-7 Raiders are in the hunt along with the Chargers. The Broncos are pretty much eliminated, 3-9. The AFC North has the Ravens at 8-4, tied with the Cincinnati Bengals at 8-4. The Cleveland Browns are barely in it at 5-7. Same with the Steelers, so that division's not done. The Tennessee Titans are 7-5. The Baltimore, they're the only team alive. The Colts are 4-8. The Jags are 4-8. The Texans are a woeful 1-10. In the NFC, the Eagles are 11-1, best team in football. They've won 3 straight, 5-0 on the road. The Cowboys are 9-3, just 2 games back. They've won 3 straight. They're alive. But the Giants and Woke team, right now the Giants are currently alive, but the Woke are on the outside looking in. Also, the Niners are 8-4, while the Seahawks get the last spot. If the playoffs were to start today, Carlos, the Seahawks would be on the road in Minnesota.
I saw that earlier. Like it'd be a really good game, especially with how Minnesota plays that bend don't break defense. I would be. It would be a really good game, and it come down to the wire. Honestly, that's how all Minnesota games are going to play out, unless we get blown out. But yeah, man, I'd love for that matchup to happen, especially because the trash talking between me and you. I don't know how bad it would get, but it'd be interesting. It'd be really fun to play the Seahawks in the wild card round.
I'd ramp it up. That's for damn sure.
But it would be. I know you would. I know you would. And you know how I could get. You know exactly how I could get. So if the Seahawks were to lose to the Vikings, you would get those 3 in the morning call.
Well, you know what I would get? No, and here's a little TMI, but he used to send me toilet bowl pictures of shit, and yeah, so he would take a dump and be like, "This is how I feel about the Seahawks," and stuff like that. So,
Last night's dinner is how I feel about the
yeah,
Seahawks.
exactly. He texted me, and it was when the phones used to be like you had to click on the image to see it. He'd be like, "Hey man, check this out. This is really cool what I just saw." And I'd be like, "What?" And I click on the damn picture, and it was a piece of shit in the toilet. I'm like, so,
if only I could have recorded that your reaction.
He's like, "Look, I took a family picture," and I click on it. It's like a shit picture. And I'm like,
oh. I used to get you a lot with those, man.
"Yeah, you did, you
I'm
asshole."
sneaky.
So in that division still up for grabs between the Niners and Seahawks. And then you got the NFC North is 10-2. Vikings, the Lions, Packers are supposedly in the hunt, but they're done. Buccaneers are the only team alive in the South. So thoughts on the teams as we move forward, as we end the show?
No, the only thing that's gonna be I'm picking Seattle to win the NFC West, and as far as Washington and New York, I don't think that either one of them are actually gonna make the playoffs. Maybe Washington. I can see New York fizzling out, but out of those two teams, I'm gonna go with Washington to make the playoffs. If those two make it, you still got to worry about the 49ers and Seahawks.
Yeah, it's gonna, dude. I mean, we got a lot of football left. There's 5 weeks, but those are gonna fly by.
Man. Yeah, I wanted to also say, man, you just made me think about it, man. It's crazy because next week they're starting to do the flexing where now we're going to have Saturday games and, they're going to have all these like flex games in and out. All that's making me think of is nothing but depressing thoughts, bro. We're going to start closing down on the season. And before you know it, playoffs are going to be there, one and done. These teams are going to go home. Before you know, we're not going to have no playoff, no football no more, man. It's going to be a drought.
And it's weird too because like we brought this up last week, but I totally agree. I mean, college football starts, and it seems like that shit's over before you know it, man. Like after the first few weeks, you kind of get lost. College football goes by so quick. Before you know it, they're playing the rivalry weeks, and then they're talking about bowl games already. Like their bowl season's going to be over before the playoffs start, So their season's already going to be real quickly done. And then the NFL right now is winding down super, super fast. And it's going to – I think, though, in the last week, you're going to see at least 2 or 3 games are going to determine teams that go to the postseason. So that should give you something to play for or something to watch.
You know what the NFL should do for the very last week of the season since they wanted to add a week? Every single game, every single day of the week, there should be one football game. Just so that way they close out the last week of the season with one game per week starting from Monday all the way to Sunday.
Yeah,
I think that they could possibly do it like all the primetime games 8:00 every night on Monday through Saturday.
Well, you see what kind of money they make on any kind of primetime game. They make a shit ton of money, so I'm sure they could do it if they wanted to. Sonia says no football just means we're closer to baseball. She's a huge baseball fan.
Oh yeah.
So
who does Sonia like? She likes the Nationals.
She likes the Nationals and Angels. So
I gotta ask Sonia, would you want to because I'm not after football season's over, would you be interested in taking my place and talking baseball with Todd and just taking it from there?
Well, she does participate a lot on the post game show for the Angels. So.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, after football season is over, like my sports life comes to an end, and it's just a drought until August, September.
Yeah, I feel you. And it used to be, like for me, I used to be able to get through it with some basketball, once January started, but that shit is boring as hell. I just saw a video today where they said that the college basketball is outdoing the NBA right now in ratings.
I believe it's because the NBA gets away from the sport. They just do too much. It like kind of like tickles people the wrong way.
James says he wants to do the baseball show. He's in.
Do it, James. Do it. Take on like you could. We could even have you come on for the playoffs. We can have you come on for the playoffs, and from right there, we can just start working you in for the baseball season right here. I think we changed the name of this show from Out of Bounds NFL Sport Podcast to NFL or Out of Bounds Sports Podcast for a reason, so that way we can pick up with all the sports. But for me, after football season, I check out.
Yeah, because I think he's going to also take in, if we do the baseball with him, he's going to also jump in with the basketball with Sergio. They hooked up and they're gonna do it, but it's going to be after, I think, New Year's, because he said that's when the NBA kicks in anyway. So.
Yeah, well, I'll be tuning in because they'll be able to keep it all basketball and keep all that other stuff out.
Yep, there you go. No politics. So with that being said, this is the Out of Bounds Podcast Network. And we're going to be jumping into some football picks tomorrow. So you guys can pick it with us or against us to see how you do. Our records, again, are?
Our records, before I give the records, let me see. I got to get the paper because Sonia just dropped the comment and I wanted to get to it. She said that she's confused. She didn't know that we did baseball on this one. Well, that's what we're going to try and game plan. We got to get after football season so that way the show could keep going. This podcast could keep going. James said that he would take over with Todd. And if you want to be a part of it, it could be all three of you guys. So that way it'll be more details to like all the baseball teams and all that. One from the East Coast and two from the West Coast. But yeah, that's what we're trying to get together. We're going to try and get the show going all year long. But as far as your question for the records, Randy, I don't know if you're going to be listening later, but the hate talk is over. I can't apologize for anything that I said because it was funny at the moment. But your record, Randy, is 83, 47, and 1. Todd, you're 118, 76, and 2. My record is 113, 81, and 2.
Damn. So like what is it? 30. Down 42 games over 500. That's good. That's fucking good.
Yeah, and that's with the crappy start to the season. Remember, we were struggling. We did a couple bad weeks, like back to back, because we didn't know what to expect in season. Nobody knew what to expect this season.
Yep.
James says, let him know. I mean, you talk to him in person, don't you?
Oh yeah, I see him from time to time for sure.
There you go. Where you guys get together and talk about how you guys are gonna follow up after the Super Bowl, and you guys take it from there. But after football season, I check out.
All right, there you go. And then it looks like Walter is doing a soccer post game show. So,
oh wow!
Yeah,
a soccer post game show.
He's big in the World Cup. His boy's.
Let him have his little podcast, little 30-minute podcast.
Yep. For sure. All right, so for Toddfox and the one and only Rick Davis.
Bitch. It just fits, huh? Doesn't it fit?
It does, dude. That should be on a shirt. I'm Rick Davis, bitch. Peace.